A super common question that we get all the time is about staffing. Jane, how did you get the right trainers on board when you started your studio?
Yeah, so again, very, very important because this is the heartbeat of the studio. So I'm not sure about Dennis and George. I presume you're both owner and trainers in your studios. But I, from the outset, have obviously owned the studio, but I've also worked from the outside as a trainer myself. So my own background was that I actually only retrained as a personal trainer 5 years ago. So, and obviously I opened F45 3 years ago. So at that time, I was still fresh to be in an F40, to being a personal trainer as well as an F45 trainer. So to start with, I actually made some amazing contacts locally with people that I knew. So I already, in the back of my head, when we were in the process, knew there's a couple of people who had met, I guess, first of all, in training, but then who became friends that I really wanted to bring on board. One great little tip that I had was just to go incognito. Not very many people knew, or not necessarily knew of me, but in Brighton, I just went to a load of different classes, lots of different gyms, lots of different studios, went and tried out the classes, just seeing their actual trainers in action without them knowing that I was coming to see whether they're this type of person that I'd like to approach. And then I ended up with a bit of a short list of about 6-7 people that I really liked that I'd been to different various classes with. And then we put obviously an advertisement out closer to the time. I think it was around late October, November time, so just 2 months prior to open, to say that we were opening and to invite responses from people. And then from there, went through a whole host of different, so I did a telephone interview, a face-to-face interview, and then we ran an audition day. And at that stage, because I was personal training quite a few people myself, I brought into the studio lots of my clients that I was PTing, and we asked the trainers, we asked them to come down to the studio. We asked them to coach basically a mini pod of cardio-based exercises and a mini pod of strength-based exercises, so we could just see their strengths and weaknesses or strengths, hopefully, in I guess their energy and how they performed, and also in their coaching cues. And a lot of it, I think, with the F45 trainers is that for that 45 minutes of people's day that they're choosing to spend with you, it's that they should leave the studio feeling like they have had the best 45 minutes of their day. So there's really like a huge energy connection. And I think for me, because I spend a lot of time in the studio, so I'm there full plus full-time hours, is that I've always had in my head, is this the type of person I would want to spend time with, and as well as being as a good trainer? And so we've been really selective about who we've actually brought on board in our training team, and we've got an amazing training team now. We've got 9 trainers who have become like super close friends. Our retention rate's amazing. I think London may be different, but in Brighton, there's not as much transient movement. So we've retained the trainers that we've had. They genuinely love being there. We look after them really well. But I think, just doing that homework to start with, of like really testing and making it almost uncomfortable for yourself, that don't be afraid to say, actually, I'm going to bring them back in and get them to do it again, just to get a feel of, is this exactly the right person that I want part of my team? And then that cohesiveness as a team. And we've worked more on that as well. Like, I've been open 3 years now, obviously, but who works better together, who helps to bring each other up, because not everyone, even though they're really good trainers, sometimes people aren't quite that as cohesive together. So now I know who works brilliantly together, who's like, they have a laugh, they get the members energized, and then it feels like a great place to be. So when people walk in, they feel that energy, and they feel that, I guess, the happiness and the joy of the other trainers that are there with them, and that's so important for the members.